All right, guys, Dragon Ball Daima episode 16 titled Degesu has now finished. So we're going to do our typical breakdown and synopsis and give my thoughts on the episode. A lot happened in this episode. I thought it was pretty good. Again, it really does feel like they're alternating with how they're taking approaches with each episode. Sometimes we have episodes like last season where I didn't think the episode was bad, but it feels like there was like an excess amount of stuff that didn't need to exist in the last episode. And in this episode, there was so much going on that it felt like some of what happened was rushed a little bit to me. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. I thought, a lot happened here. A lot of stuff that was plot related, plot progression. So we're going to go through what happened here and I'll give my thoughts. So obviously, everyone is in the first demon realm now. They've taken out the royal police army. They are now joined by the third demon realm, sort of like, I don't know, like mercenary squad with the king of the third demon realm, who's obviously Ponzi's father. And the first thing that happens is Vegeta asks, should they go and get the final Dragon Ball from Tamagami 1 first, or should they go and save Dende first? And then I think they make the decision. I think it was not Degesu. God, I can't remember his name. Glorio. It was Glorio who's like, okay, we should go save Dende, I think. So then it cuts to Degesu, who enters Dende's room where he's sleeping, picks him up, which triggers him to start crying, and then it shows Goku and the others start approaching the castle, and then they're met with the special police force. You guys remember back a few episodes ago, it was kind of like the knockoff Ginyu Force squad, and dude, they go through the entire intro again. The same exact intro they did a few episodes ago, they do that again. So we have to watch that again, and so that ends, and then Goku and Piccolo basically, like, everybody knows that these guys are not, like, they're just pushovers, they're nobodies. So Goku and Piccolo tells Vegeta to just do as he pleases, do as he wants, and they're just gonna leave everything to him. So Vegeta just starts slowly walking up to the Force. One of the Force members approaches Vegeta and tries shooting him with his blaster. But so what happens is he has this, so all the Force members have like their own weapon. This one guy has a blaster, one guy has like a machine gun, the captain, the leader, has like a sword, but they all have different weapons. So the first guy that approaches Vegeta, and you really do see like the size difference between these guys. Vegeta is like up to this guy's knee or something. It's like he's so small. But he starts shooting at him with his blaster, and this is like a homing blaster. So he shoots Vegeta. Vegeta easily dodges it, but then it shows that the blast is like coming back, kind of like Frieza's Death Saucer almost. So what Vegeta does is, I mean, I don't know if this is specifically a throwback to the Frieza Death Saucer, but he flies in front of the guy and then gets out of the way at the last second, and then the guy gets hit by his own blast. So he's out. He's knocked out. Vegeta easily starts dispatching one member of the Force at a time, who all have their own special weapons. These guys are insanely weak. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just reading my notes here. Pretty soon the Force starts to actually believe that these guys may have actually defeated Majin Buu. So you guys remember back when these guys were introduced a few episodes ago, I think it was Degesu who told them that, like, okay, these guys are actually, even though they're children, they are actually ridiculously powerful, and they've even managed to defeat Majin Buu. And then the Force was just like, okay, these guys are obviously, joking around. They're not serious. So now they're like, oh, maybe they're actually not. They weren't joking. So pretty soon they get fed up with Vegeta, and they start to all join in together on a coordinated attack at the same time. But it's just, very easily, quickly interrupted, and they're all apprehended with basically zero effort. So the entire thing was just obviously a gag, a farce, a joke. And I don't know. I really don't feel like it served much purpose at all. Like, maybe later they come into play somewhere, but I don't know. I feel like this is a joke that's been done 4 times now in Dragon Ball. Like, obviously this is modeled after the Ginyu Force, but we had the Ginyu Force, then like multiple times throughout like Super and stuff like that. We've had essentially remakes of the Ginyu Force, and this one in particular, really, I don't get the point behind it. I mean, it is funny. I thought when they introduced them for the first time and they did like their intros, I was like, okay, I'm into this. But then when they did it a second time, and them actually having like zero influence on any plot progression points or anything like that, it just almost served like it almost served to just waste time. I don't know. It is what it is. And so basically they're apprehended, And Vegeta blasts through the gate, so now they're heading into the castle. One of the Force members shares his potato chips with Goku, so that was pretty funny. All right, so let's see what kinds of images we have here. So this is them at the beginning of the episode talking about if they should go get the Dragon Ball or go save Dende first. We have Degesu picking up Dende, and he starts taking him away somewhere in the castle. We have Vegeta versus the Royal Police Force here. This is the guy with the blaster. Let me pull this up as a bigger image here. Ooh, let me zoom in here. So yeah, this guy had shot Vegeta. Vegeta dodges it, but then the blast starts coming back, at him. So Vegeta flies in front of him and then gets out of the way at the last second. This guy gets hit by it. And then this guy has like a machine gun right here. And then the guy with the potato chips, I'm pretty sure, is the one who was like, oh, these guys may have actually beaten Boo. So yeah, and that's pretty much the end of that. This is the coordinated attack they were trying to do, and I think it's Vegeta who just like blasts him when they're about to attack, and his hand just blows up, and this is them apprehended with like the cuffs on and stuff. And yeah, this again, not really much of a point, at least it seemed to me here, but yeah, that's the end of that. So let's see. The woman who received that third eye from Haibisu is trying to look for Degesu to deliver the eye to him, but is having trouble finding him. So yeah, it shows the inside part of the castle. There's like more of the royal police like running around trying to figure out what to do. And then it just shows her like sort of trying to find Degesu in the castle, because obviously Degesu was the one who had asked her to retrieve the third eye, and now she's trying to find a way to get it back to him. Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo and the others enter the castle. Cut to Degesu, who's holding Dende in a high floor within the castle. He looks out the window and gasps. Cut to commercial, which, yeah, this is it right here. So this is her trying to find where to deliver this to Degesu. Here's Goku eating the potato chips. I love this picture. Yeah, because later on, when they're actually in the castle, they're like, Goku, can you stop eating those and focus? He's just like eating the potato chips. This is, so what happens is Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo enter the castle and sort of leave everyone else behind. So this is them waving by at them. And then this is Degesu with Dende looking out the window and realizing that, okay, they're actually here now. So the commercial is here. The commercial in this one was really early, I felt like. So there's a lot of stuff that happened after this. All right. So now we get to the second half of the episode, which is really where everything starts happening pretty quickly. The others ask Goku which way to go. So they're all in the castle at this point. There's Piccolo, Goku, and Vegeta. And then actually Ponzi runs in after them, trying to catch up to them. So yeah, the others ask Goku which way to go. Goku's able to sense that Dende is close by, so they follow the energy signal. Ponzi's trying to keep up with them as they traverse the castle. Then it cuts to Degesu, who's still holding Dende as he approaches a ship. Looks like he's trying to get on a ship and I guess kind of hold Dende hostage. But before Degesu is able to board the ship, he finally gets met with Goku and the others, who catch up with him right as he's about to board the ship. Degesu points a gun at Dende, and then Supreme Kai actually is the one who says, like, stop what you're doing, like, why are you doing this? And then Degesu's like, oh, if it isn't, my older brother who I haven't seen in about he's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a few hundred years. No, it's been 1,000 years. So apparently it's been 1,000 years since Supreme Kai has seen his brother last. Here we go. Yeah, this is the shot. So this is where the crew meet up with Degesu. I like how Supreme Kai is like kind of just like indifferent here. And then Goku's mad. We have Degesu, who's pointing the gun at Dende, who's for some reason sleeping still. I don't even know how that's possible. But he's pointing a gun at him. He's, kind of got his evil smirk on, the twirling mustache villain evil smirk. So that's that. Degesu says his true goal is to become the ruler of the demon realm. And then he also, starts getting into like, oh, well, you have your ambitions, I have mine. Degesu seems spiteful that Supreme Kai is prancing around in the outer worlds as a god. And then Goma actually turns on his screen and sees that Degesu is, trying to do his own thing and has his own motives. And he's like, oh, is he trying to, sort of like betray me here? Is he going out on his own? So he knows now, Goma now knows that Degesu is kind of looking out for himself as opposed to being like the trusty right-hand man of Goma, which is what he thought was happening this whole time. So all of a sudden, Ponzi springs into action and tries to pull a sneak attack on Degesu, but is easily seen through. And Degesu's like, oh, isn't this like the I forget the exact term he used, but like you're like the little girl from the third demon realm or something. So Ponzi's sneak attack doesn't really work, but so right as like he's talking to Ponzi and looking down, sort of like distracted. Out of nowhere, a green hat flies through the air and hits Degesu, forcing him to drop Dende, and then Ponzi actually catches Dende before he hits the ground. So this is obviously some kind of coordinated attack there. Piccolo takes the opportunity with Degesu, who's like stunned for a second because he's hit by the hat. He just takes him out with one punch. Piccolo just like immediately jumps at Degesu and just literally one punches him, and he's knocked out now. So Degesu's out. And then it's revealed afterwards that Glorio was the one who threw Haibisu's hat at Degesu. And then Haibisu's like, oh great, now my head is cold. And then Dende is finally safe. So that's really... I don't know. Do I find this to be disappointing? Did anyone really expect like Degesu to be like this big bad villain that was gonna fight with like Goku and Vegeta? I don't really think so. I was expecting a little more, I want to say, but I don't know. I feel like this was coming at some point. Yeah. So this is Goma seeing that Degesu's kind of like got his own motives now. He's looking at the screen and he's like, oh god, I've been swindled here. So that's that part. And then I don't want to scroll up too much because there are spoilers. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So they saved Dende, yeah. So this is the shot of Degesu getting hit by the hat, which was thrown by Glorio. He throws Dende into the air. He's stunned for a second. Ponzi goes and catches Dende, and then Piccolo goes. As soon as Piccolo sees this, he just goes in and punches him and knocks him out, which we do see right here. This is the punch. Yeah, Piccolo just immediately just takes him out. So Piccolo, pretty useful there. Degesu, who's now apprehended, is led away from the castle by some of the third Demon World's King's men. Glorio says they should next try and get the final Dragon Ball from Tamagami 1. And then Neva's like, okay, yeah, sure. His location is like right there next to the castle. So they all try and get over to Tamagami number 1 as fast as possible. Goku actually mentions that this Tamagami seems even stronger than the others. So I think they mention this for a reason. They're trying to give us context as to like how strong Majin Buu is. I'm assuming that's why they had that line in there. So I think, yeah, they're really trying to establish some kind of like pecking order, I guess, for the Tamagamis. I assume it's just the order that they're listed in. Like 3 is the weakest, 2 is the second weakest, and then 1 is the strongest, I assume is how it works. But Goku does mention that. And then let me just see. Yep. Let's see here. Okay. They realize that the Tamagami number 1 does not actually have the Dragon Ball. And then out of nowhere, Dr. Arinsu appears with both Majin Buu and Majin Buu and says that she is the one who is in possession of the Dragon Ball, and Majin Buu is seen holding it with like a very serious expression, which is not like him at all. Like Majin Buu is obviously like a joke character, and he's like standing there with the Dragon Ball. He's like very serious. It's like kind of strange. So then it cuts to Goma. This might be a little bit out of order, but it cuts to Goma. I think this actually happened before the scene I just talked about. This was after Degesu gets apprehended. It cuts to Goma, and he's like dancing around in excitement that Degesu was dispatched of because he's like a traitor now. But he's interrupted by the woman who retrieved the third eye, which I believe should be the next thing. Yeah. So Goma actually now has the third eye, and this is probably the biggest plot point of this episode, that Goma now has the third eye, because we know how powerful this artifact is. We know how strong it can amplify the user who's using the third eye, who's wearing the third eye. So this is the biggest thing that happens, and more on this in a little bit. So the final part of the episode, I'm not going to scroll up here because there is a spoiler. Goma desperately tries to pry the third eye from the belt, but is having no luck. He gets so frustrated that he like whirls the belt away and takes a restroom break. And then when he's in there, he thinks of using a plunger to try and plunge the eye out of the belt. So he actually does get it out, and he has the third eye, and it starts like floating in the air and stuff. And then he asks the same woman familiar. He's like, hey, can you attach this to my forehead? And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then he's like, all right, I'll pay you more to do this. And so she, tries to push it into his forehead. It like kind of resists for a little bit. And then it finally gets attached. And the third eye starts like, amplifying Goma with its power. There's like a very, like I don't even know the best way. It's like when the Hulk transforms is the best way I would describe it. Like when the Hulk goes from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, you have like the human version who's like, sort of like wincing in pain as he's transforming. That's kind of what this reminded me of. Like the third eye is infusing Goma with its power. And then all of a sudden we start to see Goma grow into like this huge, terrifying monster form. And he is now huge. This is a huge Goma. Let's see if they have a picture of this here. So this is a Rinsu meeting up with Goku and the others, and this is, I guess, going to be the showdown of the next episode. And then here we go. This is, Goma transforming. This is not a very good picture because it doesn't do a good job of showing how big he actually is, but I don't know. He grows like, how big is he? Like bigger than Tamagami number 3 probably here. But he's big. He's got the third eye now, and to me, this really does seem like a good candidate for the final boss of Dragon Ball Daima here. Is probably going to be, this Goma with the third eye. The next episode, by the way, is titled Goma, and then we do have shots here of Goku fighting Majin Buu. We have Vegeta involved. Piccolo's doing the special beam cannon here. Supreme Kai and Glorio are also fighting, and then whatever this is, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's a bunch of purple spikes. Looks like I don't even know what this looks like. Looks like something Ganondorf would make. It's like the arena where you fight Ganondorf at Twilight Princess or something. No, it's not. But the next episode very obviously is going to be a very, very action-packed one. We are heading into episode 17 next week, so a lot is surely going to happen. We're approaching the end of Daima. I feel like we've been saying this for the past few weeks now, but we're really about to see some probably crazy stuff. We're getting the really hype end of series fights here. Would not be surprised if we started to see some cool scenes here, maybe some new transformations, fusions, that kind of thing coming up within the next few weeks. But next week is where things really look like they're starting to ramp up now that we have all the lore out of the way. I mean, there's nothing else they could do to fill time, right? I mean, we have Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo meeting up with Majin Buu and Majin Buu. We have Goma, who now has the third eye, who's transformed into this monstrous form. So there's nothing else to do but to actually conclude the series by having all these fights happen at the same time. So next week, I think, is really going to be the ultimate climax of Daima, the start of the climax of Daima. So we'll see how that progresses. Overall, I thought this episode was pretty good. A lot happened. A lot of things happened to progress the plot. Once you guys have seen the episode, let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.